So what is behind this? Sean O'Brien should know, the Teamsters general president, kind enough to join us. Sean, always good having you, but I gotta wonder, why now at Christmas time? Why this? I mean, could this have been put off until after the holiday?
Well, Neil, we've been dealing with this company and their games and antics for almost 2.5 years now. Enough's enough. We have the workers have spoken. They've chosen the Teamsters to represent them. We've made attempts to sit down and bargain with Amazon, with the people that we represent that signed the cards, the majority of the cards. And Amazon has refused continuously. They've even petitioned NLRB to say that what we're doing is illegal, which it's not illegal. So we have no other choice. And look, collective bargaining is all about leverage, and this is our leverage. This is our pinch point.
But you're leveraging Santa.
Yeah, well, you know, Santa would be disgusted in the behavior that Amazon has been engaging in over the last several years. They don't respect their workers. They don't respect who makes them the success they are, and we're going to hold them accountable.
They're among the highest. I understand
of
some of these differences, but they're among the highest retail workers in the country. Now, there are beefs here. I understand some of these beefs. But again, I'm going back to the timing of this, and a lot of Amazon customers who aren't really knee-deep in the weeds on what these contract issues are. But again, it is Christmas. And again, a good many Americans will see their presents delayed if their presents get there at all.
Well, they can divert them to a good union company like United Parcel Service, DHL, and everybody else. And, you know, it's unfortunate that the public has to be put in the middle.
They got 6 days to do that. Right?
These folks are out there 365 days a year getting abused by Amazon. And, you know, we have to set an example. And
what's the most, when you say abuse, Sean, what's going on that they're getting abused? I'm almost thinking like they're getting beaten on the job. What's going on?
Oh, they are. They're getting beaten on the job. They've got the most violations in OSHA. If you do the fact check, they're not getting paid accordingly. They're being paid through a scam, which is a third-party leasing arrangement, which they are a joint employer. These people are not being paid a livable wage. They're getting minimal benefits, if any, and it's a disgrace, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen. And this company's worth $2 trillion.
Well, here's the wrap here on the company. You heard a little bit of that from our reporter, that this really isn't about a lot of workers there who are angry. This is about the Teamsters trying to get a leg in and a leg up with a company and sucking them dry for money. What do you say?
We already have a leg in, we got a leg up. We're not looking to suck anything out of any company. Amazon's got a duty to bargain, and they should sit down and bargain in good faith. Look, they know what bargaining is. They squeeze small businesses every single day. And if those businesses don't concede to their demands, what do? They ice them out. They blackball them. They don't deliver their products, force them out of business. We're not looking to do that. We're looking to sit down and negotiate and make certain that they treat their workers accordingly.
Now, this is obviously going to be a huge disruption during holiday season. I don't know what the odds are of resolving this quickly. But I'm wondering, have you talked to President-elect Trump about this? This is happening under President Biden, I get it. But something like this could be very disturbing if it lasts that long and into his inauguration, right?
Yeah, I have not talked to President Trump. I've reached out to the mayor of New York. I've reached out to the attorney general. We've got a problem in New York. Those are the only politicians that I've talked to, where the police are not allowing our members their constitutional right to picket. I don't blame the rank and file NYPD. I blame the command staff and the leadership in the city of New York. We have a right to picket. We should be allowed to picket, and no one should be arrested. We're doing it lawfully. And again, I don't blame the rank and file. They've got to listen to the command staff. But it's telling on how much influence Amazon has in New York. You know, I mean, did they promise the police something? I don't know that. But the reality of it is we've got a constitutional right and we should be allowed to do it.
So let me ask you, last I heard, Sean, this was targeted in roughly 4 states, California, New York, Illinois, and Georgia. Could this go wider and at facilities far more widespread than that?
Oh, absolutely. This is a nationwide and also a global situation. We've got our brothers and sisters in Germany that are also going to strike either today or tomorrow. So this is not just a United States issue. This is a global issue on how Amazon treats their workers.
So let me step back and You do have Donald Trump coming in about 5-6 weeks, you know, and I'm wondering, you were very instrumental, if you think about it, in his getting elected in the first place. Not that you backed him, but you didn't back anybody. But that was unprecedented for a big union not to go with the Democrat. And a lot of people interpreted that, as you said last time I talked to you, that there were a good many of your members, a majority, that supported Donald Trump. So I'm just wondering how you would handle potential strikes in a Trump administration.
Well, that's up to the administration. I mean, look, I've been very clear with any and all administrations. The Biden administration, we've had a lot of contentious negotiations, and the message has been clear. Look, this is a fight between the Teamsters Union, representing the Amazon employees, versus Amazon, a white-collar crime syndicate. And it's our fight. And in the neighborhood I grew up in, if two people are fighting in the middle of the street and you really don't have anything to do with it, keep walking. If there's a resolution that any administration wants to put forth and hold this company accountable, we'll embrace it. But until the bad behavior stops, we're just going to continue to grow, we're going to continue to mobilize, and we're going to continue to extend.
What does Amazon have to do, in your eyes, to end this tomorrow?
What they have to do is they have to agree to sit down and bargain a contract in good faith. That's the law.
I understand
You know,
that. But what's the number one issue you would like to resolve?
I want to resolve. I want to make certain that they treat these employees with dignity and respect, make sure they pay them the wages and benefits that they deserve, and comply like every other company that's in the same exact business. We've set industry standards with the United Parcel Service contract, with the DHL contract, and they should adhere to those standards and treat their employees accordingly.
You know, a lot of cynics could look at this, John, and say this is an opening salvo on the part of the Teamsters, not to address these issues with these workers at these facilities, but to get into Amazon, a largely non-union shop for the most part, and make it a union shop. Is that true?
Well, Amazon spends $17 million in 2022 to 2023 to fight the union. Just think if they invested that money in their workers. I mean, the cynics can say whatever they want. There's always going to be cynics no matter what. At the end of the day, we represent workers, and we represent workers that have to put up with the abuse of an Amazon or any other corporate bigwig. So we're going to continue the fight. That's all I can tell you. Any
parting words of advice to the outgoing Democratic administration, to Democrats who had a tough go of it in the election? I mean, you were very frank about them at the time, not reaching out to you, not wanting to meet with you. But I'm just curious what you make of what they should do now.
Well, I think what they should do right now, because they've got a couple of weeks left, is they claimed that they walked a picket line. We've got picket lines all over the country. No one's walked a picket line right now. No one's walked that Amazon picket line. We've got Joe Biden still in office. We've got Chuck Schumer and AOC that is right in their backyard. Go out and show these workers how you support them. That's how you stop building bridges. That's how you stop building inroads back into the people that you once represented.
All right, Sean, very good seeing you. I mean, I noticed you're wearing a Teamsters sweatshirt. I mean, but you're so well known and you're so recognizable. Do you even need to put Teamsters on the shirt? I mean, they kind of know, right?
Well, listen, we lead from the front, Neil. I'm on the picket lines. I'm heading to California to jump on a picket line out there as well. So I'm in battle gear, man. All right.
I thought you'd have something like that as an answer. Sean, always good seeing you. Merry Christmas, my friend. Hope it all works out. Sean O'Brien.
Thank you, sir.
The Teamsters General President.